Hey everybody, Dan Fitzpatrick here at Stock Market Mentor. This is Fitz Factor. I want to talk about certain aspects of trading that are really, really important to be mindful of these days. First of all, it's become pretty clear that the Fed is going to continue to hike rates. The market keeps anticipating a slowdown in that. Every single little economic number that comes out is parsed and looked at and talked about, and how whether this will be the catalyst that's going to make the Fed say, hey, we've gone far enough. Now, I don't know whether that's going to happen or not. I have no clue, but neither does anybody else. And you know that if you are aware of all the stuff that's been talked about basically for the last year. All these experts have been making these predictions, and the only consistency among them is that none of them come true. And so let's just screw all that stuff. Trade what you see, not what you want to see, not based on what you hear. Just trade what you see, because there is a difference. Nobody cares, certainly the market doesn't care what you think about what somebody else thinks. Nobody cares. What you need to do is just be looking at the charts. Just be doing some intermarket analysis. Where are my eyes taking me? What makes sense to me based on the price action? But with all of that said, this is what I'm finding. I'm finding that number one, trades need to be much shorter in duration. Stocks just don't get traction these days. There's such heaviness on the market that it's like Seattle. It's always raining, except in the summertime. But it's really, really heavy. The market's super heavy right now. So any kind of lift, it seems like, in any stock doesn't go too far before sellers hit the market. And so what you need to be doing is tightening up your time frame. If it's a 59-minute trade, for example, I've found that I need to leave minutes on the table. Typically, I want to get into a day trade at just a couple minutes, really, after the market opens so I can see what's going on. And then I want to try to leave that trade on, well, as long as the price will allow me to. But typically, stocks will move up pretty consistently for maybe 15 minutes or so, and then give you a little pullback. And then the weak stocks just keep going down, but they'll give you a little bit of a pullback, and then they'll start moving in the original direction. I mean, that's kind of the template that I use to see what the market's doing, to have some kind of a time frame, some kind of an action plan for how I'm going to trade a very, very quick trade. Now, lately, what I've been finding is if I hold the stock for too long, that definition of too long is not very long at all. In other words, these days, it just seems to me like you got to get in, wait maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes, maybe, and then lighten up a little bit and then see what happens. This isn't a course on day trading here. But the point is, because of the volatility and the heaviness of the market and the real extreme unpredictability of it, it's kind of one of those things where, like, smoke them if you got them. You know, if you're making money, then make sure you lock in that money. Don't get cocky and continue to want more. So that's what I'm focusing on. And again, just these time periods need to really be shorter. It's pretty rare, and I'm not talking about day trades now. I'm talking about swing trades or just longer term trades, maybe that you're using daily charts for. Time periods need to be shorter, and it's pretty rare to be in a stock that moves so well. It gets so much traction that it runs up and then it pauses a little bit in such a way that you say, okay, I got a little bit of money going on now. I got a little profit here, and the stock is holding this higher level. So I'm going to add to that position. I'm going to build my position now that the stock is telling me that I'm correct. The stock is agreeing with me that I think it's going higher. And so I'm going to be in sync with the stock, and I'm going to continue to add to my position. Stocks aren't earning that privilege of being bought from you. They're coming up and they're just sitting there. And so your initial position a lot of times is going to wind up being your full position. That is, if you're just trading the waves in the market, because right now, like they're flat waves. They just kind of go up a little bit, then go down a little bit. They're not really bigger waves. So anyway, this is the type of information that works for me. If I'm doing these shorter term trades with a really kind of a tight time frame, a tight wallet, this works for me, and it gives me a feel for some of the things that are happening here. Now, I know it can be frustrating for some of you that I'm not kicking out trades all the time. I get that. Everybody wants action. I want action. I love it. I love it. But the one thing that's more important or that's more frustrating than sitting on your hands while you see stocks that have moved, oh crap, I missed that one or whatever. One thing that's more frustrating than that's the frustration of losing money one trade at a time. When a baseball player's at the plate, even an all-star waits for his pitch. They don't start swinging at every one. That's a key part of good hitting. If you're swinging at every pitch, you strike out a lot. You ultimately wind up playing A ball, riding the bus to stay in cheap hotels, and playing on dirt fields in sweaty uniforms. Go check out Bull Durham. Okay, that's not my idea of success. So similarly, sitting on your hands rather than just frantically clicking your mouse, that's like the baseball player who's waiting for the pitch. When the market isn't favorable to your preferred style of trading, you just wait for your pitch. And sometimes that means keeping your bat on your shoulder. Now, I want you to stay solid. Okay, stay disciplined, be professional. This is important. Be a professional. You can make that choice right now. You can start trading like a professional. When you think about it, discipline should be one of the easiest things about trading because it's a super simple concept. Okay, but it's actually the hardest part because you need to go against your hardwiring. Think about it this way. You know what you need to do. You know what you need to do. But then you go do the opposite anyway because it feels good. Okay, so it's really just the toughest part because it goes against your hardwiring. And I want you to think about it this way. Think about my website, Stock Market Mentor, as your hardwiring. We've had some horrendous hardwiring due to just some crap that's happened over the last decade or so. Now, it took a while for me to even see what the problems were and even longer to cycle through some of the mistakes. Okay, crap, we got this problem, got a whole boatload of problems with the website. We need to start fixing them. Well, it's not going to be a perfect fix every time. Guys, I'm talking about your trading too. Okay, so once I cycled through the various mistakes and got on the right track, it's taken a long, long time to find and fix those hardwiring mistakes. But we're pretty close to the end of the fix and the results are going to be pretty good. Okay, so isn't this like your trading? You're naturally hardwired to respond to FOMO situations. Oh, that's running. I got to get in on it. I got to get in on it. Or you sell in a panic. And what you're really doing is if you're selling in a panic, you're locking in a loss. Okay. If you're buying in a panic from fear of missing out, you're taking somebody who was more disciplined than you out of their trade. You're doing God's work. You're doing philanthropy. Don't do that. Okay. Doing the worst thing when emotions override common sense is really a part of our fight or flight hardwiring. When things get really, really raucous and volatile, that's when our emotions hit the extremes. So it takes a while to become self-aware. Now, it takes even longer, though, to understand that your hardwiring's crappy when you say, okay, well, I know I'm doing this and I can't do that. I know I should be doing this, but I'm not. Or I shouldn't be doing this, but I am. You know all that stuff, but it takes a while for you to understand that it's not just discipline, it's your hardwiring. You've got to fight that. So you get discouraged, depressed because the task of learning things and turning things around seems so daunting. You want to quit, okay, but don't. Quitters never win. That's the nature of quitting. Don't be a good loser, Good losers always lose. Be a determined winner. By the way, I never had the option to quit because this was a passion of mine that overrode any desire to return to some of the careers I pursued prior to trading. And trust me, I had a boatload of them. Okay, I love trading and I love teaching. I still do. So I decided quite a while ago that losing was not an option. Now, this made things pretty easy because the only way forward was hard work. Or if I wanted to, I could quit. But then what am I going to do? Go get a tent, lay out on the sidewalk? No. So I just decided that losing wasn't an option, and that actually made things easy because the only way forward was hard work. You hope you have enough talent to get the job done, but I'll tell you this: hard work makes up for a lack of talent most of the time. Not every time, but most of the time. The only thing worse than seeing, at least in my mind, the only thing worse than seeing somebody who's really down on their luck, but working real hard and not making much progress is seeing a really talented person who lets it all go to waste because they're not willing to work. You got to have the work ethic. If you don't have the work ethic, nothing else that you have is worth a damn. So there really aren't any lottery tickets in trading. You're trying to get that one good trade that's going to make you feel better. There are no lottery tickets and there's no easy way to succeed. If there was, everybody'd trade, wouldn't they? Because it's fun, right? Now, do the work and you will reap the reward. When you decide that quitting is not an option, your determination to succeed is directly tied to your instinct for self-preservation. Again, your determination to succeed, your determination is tied to your instinct for self-preservation. Determination and a vision for what the future looks like for you is your path of success. There is no other path. Okay, if you don't know where the hell you're going, you're never going to get there. Until you quit, though, you're not failing. Rather, you're just developing your skills and moving towards a successful future. That's your future, right? Your future, not mine. You choose. The things that are worth succeeding at aren't ever easy. If they were, everybody'd be successful, but they're not. Okay, have you ever pumped your fist with exhilaration when you successfully made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? No. Why? Because it's easy. Now, if you had no arms, making a PB&J sandwich would be more difficult, and you'd celebrate when you were able to make one, though you still probably wouldn't be doing fist pumps. So we celebrate accomplishing something hard when we meet hard objectives. That's something to celebrate. Making a sandwich ain't hard, but becoming disciplined and consistently profitable is hard. And that's the celebration you want to have. And you can find joy in the journey when you can see the end result. You got to be able to see it so you know where you're going, and you celebrate your little victories along the way, and you celebrate them vigorously. You know, I learned something from Mark Minervini in his book, excellent book. I think it's called Think and Trade Like a Champion. It's his third one. I got them all, but I'm not looking at it right now. Sorry, Mark. But one of the things he was talking about was what is memorable to people and what gets ingrained in people's subconscious. And it's the things that generate the most emotion. When you're really emotional about something, you have a memory, and that memory kind of starts getting hardwired into your system. Just think about some of the most vibrant memories in your past. My bet is those are things that were really, really memorable. Why? Because there was some kind of emotion attached to it. You don't remember what kind of lunch you had last week, but you'll sure remember it if somebody stole your lunch. So what Mark's saying and what I'm saying, because I work on this too, is you celebrate your victories. You celebrate them with enthusiasm. And when you have a defeat, a loss, a setback, stuff like that, You totally take it in stride. You don't get emotional. You think, you know what? I'm on my journey. I know where I'm going. And nobody ever said it with this ain't the yellow brick road. Okay. There's a lot of potholes and stones in the way and maybe a couple fallen trees here and there. So you have to understand that. And then when you get through a rough spot in your trading, maybe you're having a hard time being disciplined and you're doing your best, but somehow for crap's sake, you just can't figure it out. Okay, don't get emotional about that. Don't get down on yourself. Don't start going, oh, I can't do this. Instead, step off the road. Stop your journey and say, wait a minute, I got to regroup here. It's not a big deal. I just got to find my direction because right now I'm not going where I want to go. It's okay. It happens. It happens to the best of us. Anybody who's accomplished anything worth accomplishing has had setbacks. So the way you feel good about your journey is to celebrate it when you do something right. And when you do something wrong, when you make a mistake, you just go, well, I guess that's why they call it trading as opposed to winning. All right, let's keep going. So that's what you want to find is a celebration. And you can find joy in the journey when you see the end result of your journey. Where are you going to go? So this is what I want you to do. And this is going to take some time. Write down what kind of trader you want to be in a year. Now, I'm recording this on March 9th, 2023. Where do you want to be on March 9th, 2024? What kind of trader do you want to be? And be specific. I'm not going to give you any like, hey, either make it this or that. It's your life. It's your dream. Be specific. What kind of trader do you want to be? But write it down. If it's not in writing, it's just a dream. As Scott McGregor, who works with me on an everyday basis, is a really, really wise man, has said, passive dreams beget passive results. And we don't want passive results. We want active stuff. We want concrete things that form a foundation for our trading. And so if you don't have it written, it's a dream, it's hope. Dreams and hopes aren't viable. They're just, put your hands together and hit your knees. You're not going to go anywhere from there. So go beyond the dream phase and write it down and then memorialize the process for reaching that goal. Stick it in front of you on your desk. It doesn't have to be long, but it needs to have some kind of a detail in it. And then just follow that process until you meet your goal. Until you do that, you're what I call a trading enthusiast. You really like to trade. It's fun, but you aren't so serious about it that you're willing to pay the price required to truly be successful. I'm not a professional gambler, but when I go to Vegas, I don't go there very often because I'm not a professional gambler, but I'll take $100 or maybe $500 or maybe $20 if there are dollar tables and say, you know what? This is my fun money here. If I double it, I'm out. If I lose it, I'm out. Okay, that's a 1-to-1, and that's all I do. I never hit the ATM machine. So you got to be serious about what you're doing, or you're just an enthusiast. Think about it this way too, as far as discipline. Overweight people all want to lose weight. I know I got about 10 pounds to lose, but I used to have 50 pounds to lose. So every January, people get determined, like, I'm going to drop 20 pounds, and you join the gym. You got a firm resolution. Then you get hungry, and there are Doritos in the pantry and ice cream in the freezer. You got options. You can eat the bag of chips, sneak the ice cream while resolving to get back on track tomorrow. Smokers, which I used to do many, many, many years ago, resolve to quit smoking. They toss out all their cigarettes, they're done. Then the next day, things get stressful, and they got to fill up their car with gas. So what do? You pop into the convenience store, shove the nozzle in the tank, and go in to grab a Coke, and just one pack of cigarettes, just one. You resolve to have a few of them and get back on track tomorrow, and you know what happens. tomorrow never comes. It's just a string of todays filled with resolutions to be different tomorrow. Don't wait. Be different today. Don't wait for tomorrow. So I want you, I'm serious about this. Spend some time writing down your goal and your plan to get there. Your plan. Okay, do that and you will be taking a critical step. The first step, if you haven't done that already, you're just walking in place. You're not walking forward. Okay, you're marking time. You're on a treadmill. But if you write down your goal and your plan to get there, you're taking a critical step on the path to where you want to be. Your journey is a process. Start the process and you start your journey. Okay, that's all I got for you. Dan Fitzpatrick, Stock Market Mentor. Thanks for listening.